Hello guys, great to see everyone here. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I had a rough day, but I'm here. I'm here for this. This is Gargoyles week 14. We're going to go through episodes 40, 41, and 42. And we've been looking forward to this for a very long time. So without further ado, I am going to play the video in 5, 4, 3, 2. Right, we're back for another week of reviewing the wonderful series Gargoyles. We have 3 awesome episodes here. First one is episode 40 of season 2, Bushido. It starts off with a very nice previously on that is kind of going through Goliath's experience of distrust from humans, except for Elisa, of course. We begin in Japan with a robbery that happens and some gargoyles stop it. I was really excited. I was like, oh, other gargoyles. And there's a lot of them too in this clan. And so that was pretty awesome to see. The Manhattan clan, if you want to call them that, just arrived, and Bronx even starts sniffing around. He can sense the other gargoyles. They meet a person by the name of Kai. This is Kai here. One thing that they notice right away is that humans and gargoyles live harmoniously together. Kai says it's the best kept secret of his place, which is called Ishimura. What did you think of this opening scene?
I've always had a huge weakness for everything Japan. So this episode is right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I love the whole aesthetic of it. The gargoyles are, and I've said this before with other weeks where we see them in different areas, how again their image is very reflective of the culture that they're living in. And it's beautiful. I love this episode.
Oh, isn't it great?
Yeah, Bronx sniffing out the gargoyles right away. He was excited to smell what he did. And
he was so happy, and I was I was so glad that the reception was mutual. Because I was like, going, some stranger, don't be careful. But it was
finally
just
somebody nice. Yeah. Finally, somebody had a reaction to Bronx like I would have. Oh, aren't you a cutie?
Yeah, yeah, so cute.
I just wanted to know what their dog equivalent was.
I know they didn't. It didn't look like they have. Did they?
They did have one. They did have one.
Oh,
you see him for only a few scenes.
Okay,
but it's very much got that Asian dragon feel to it. That just a little beef, little chunky, Boudica and Bronx is, but it's still very much more dragon.
Okay, yeah, I guess I missed that one. Or I was probably concentrated on something else.
No, this is the stuff that my family always teases me about, because we can be driving down the street and I'll just spot the dog right away.
Yeah, I mean, I was very excited that we were in Japan. I do love this country hopping or just going to different places that have old history, kind of sharing in their cultures for a little bit. I mean, really dug that a lot and love that about the series. And this particular town is a little bit off the beaten path. It's not necessarily it's not a bustling city, but it's like a nice little tucked away little place.
This is one I would have loved to have seen more of, this particular clan.
Me too.
Because they like you said, this is the biggest clan we've seen in the modern era at this point. And they have just beautiful gargoyles.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. I am with you with that. Now, the story is going to start to shape up, But the very, very beginning of the story, if I can just talk about that for a second, there is a restaurant with masks on it, right? And so if we go back, there's this mask here, and inside that restaurant there is a man with a white suit, and his name is Taro. He looks out into the crowd and he almost has a very knowing look on his face and a smirk. And I was like, what is he planning? And then, the camera shifts away. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe he's not really a part of anything. He's just some guy. But he's not. He's actually, there he is back there doing his planning and plotting. He's talking to a gargoyle by the name of Yama, and they kind of have a little camaraderie going. But I mean, what we can say about the storytelling in this series, at least in this episode, it is showing you bits of things but not explaining everything all at once, so you get that surprise later when you find out, that they're planning something, and it's probably going to be the challenge in this episode, but you don't know what it is just yet. Did you have any inkling beforehand, or when you first saw this?
Not initially. I mean, he doesn't initially come off as anything really suspicious. Like in that first, when we see the robbers try and do the thing, and he's watching this all happen.
Yeah.
It's when he starts talking to this particular gargoyle. That's when you're like, these two are not like you get a very reminiscent of Xanatos and Demona.
Yes. It's very interesting because this guy reminds me so much of Xanatos. And during this episode, I was like, he's the Japanese version of Xanatos in a way.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole episode, he is 100% Xanatos' counterpart.
Yeah.
And heaven help if they ever find each other.
Oh. Yeah, if they don't try to, hurt each other first, but if they team up, forget about it. So the next thing is that we discover a little bit more about the culture of this village. It turns out they have a code there that is called the Bushido Code, which is a moral code that outlines the behavior, attitudes, and lifestyles of the samurai. This particular village has survived a war, and at one point they had students that they used to teach Bushido to, and now they're all gone. And the only thing, though, is that the clan is still there and still protects this village away from most of civilization. And one of the gargoyles, Yama, as we were watching that one guy, wants to leave the village. You can see from his conversation, he's like, yeah, but the outside world, he kind of chimes in with this, like, we're here, but we should get out and see what's out there. You can see there's a little bit of motivation behind his desire to work with this guy Taro. Before even knowing anything else, we get the sense that he wants to leave the confines of this village and explore what else is out there. At sunset, the gargoyles, they usually perch on something high. Goliath is about to perch in one direction, they're perching in another direction. He was perching outward. And
yeah, that's what we've seen, like every other gargoyle clan, because they are protectors, they face outward, for, as Goliath puts it, to ward off the enemy coming from the outside.
Yes.
Where these guys, they face inward as a symbol of respect to the people who protect them in the daytime.
It's a beautiful sign of trust, but it also leaves them very vulnerable. The humans, though, during the day, this place gets completely attacked by ninjas. And luckily, Elisa's there. She puts up a good fight, but Taro shows up with a tranquilizer gun and she's out. You know, you're wondering, like, oh my gosh, I hope we don't have like a Hakan situation where he wants to destroy them. But no, it's not that at all. The gargoyles wake up and they find themselves in sort of like almost like a replica of the village, but also like an amusement park is what it is, right?
What I really got a kick out of, I mean, first for starters, Elisa, backing up just a little, Elisa, as they're saying goodnight, Elisa does say that she loves this village.
Yes.
I could actually see her and Goliath vacationing there.
Yes.
It'd be nice. It'd be fun. Headcanon. I'm just going out. I'm just saying that. But this amusement park that they wake up in, because that's, we find out what it is. If you look in that scene as they go around, it's every place they've been is shown. You see Castle Wyvern, you see the same pyramid from when they met the Sun Clan.
Oh yeah.
Every place they've been to.
Interesting.
Even Notre Dame.
I didn't notice that. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I live for details like this.
Oh my god. Well, usually I do. I don't know what I was paying attention.
No, it's okay.
But yes, that's really awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad that you saw those things, because then that would make it even more appetizing for these guys to want to stay, you know, because it's like there are things to explore, and they do talk about, oh yeah, let's look around and explore. Taro comes up with a plan and says, oh yeah, the villagers didn't want to make you feel bad, but they don't want you there anymore.
Yeah, they didn't want to they're like, yeah, take them.
Yeah, and okay, but then why did he take the new gargoyles too? He should have left those guys. That
would have been the smart thing to do.
That would have been the smart
Because
thing.
as soon as he says that, like, Goliath and Angela look at each other like,
yeah. And what did they have to do with this whole thing? And they don't have anything to do anything with it.
Because they know darn well Elisa would not let them go.
Yeah. They're like, that doesn't sound right. And she did put up quite a fight, and unfortunately Taro had some trickster stuff going on. But it turns out that Taro has planned to trick them into staying and making a profit. Now, one of the other things that he tells them is that at dawn, or just before dawn, there will be some children that will come into the space and see them, so that way they can make some kids happy, or whatever the reason
eventually is. And teach people Bushido and all of this lovely sounding story. And
yeah,
again, Goliath isn't buying a word of it.
Yeah. I mean, and again, he should not have taken those gargoyles. Meanwhile, at the village, though, Elisa and this villager, I didn't get a name for this person. Did you?
I don't believe we got a name for him.
I don't think so.
But
yeah,
he does come across as the police officer of the village.
And he's quite skilled. They're looking at computer records. They're just researching anything to find out what they can. Now they have a person to target, Taro.
He was foolish enough to let her see his face.
Yeah.
Classic villain stuff,
So that was enough. She was like, okay, it's definitely Taro. And they start digging around. And it seems as he has bought some land and it's under construction. So they're like, okay, well, we know where to go.
Get the car.
Yeah. Now. And at this facility, Goliath is telling Kai that this park is not the way.
Yeah, he even calls it out for what it is. He's like, this is an amusement park. People are going to come and gawk at you.
I mean, I'm surprised this is the first time any character in this series has thought of that. because it's like, oh yeah, that would be something that someone could exploit.
The like 40-foot tall mechanical gargoyle, you know, doing the greeting of "Welcome to the home of the gargoyles." Yeah, that doesn't help.
Yeah. As they're talking, Yama decides to interrupt, and he's like, "Wait a minute, whoa, whoa, whoa." And he actually gives away his hand and says that he approved the design of the park, meaning that he's fully aware of what's going on and has a huge hand to play in this. I was very surprised that Kai didn't like go ballistic or anything, because I think that would have been my response, like, oh, you're the you're the cause. How did you know about this? If this was something that happened.
I think that's the difference in their training, though, because once Goliath goes after Yama, the leader, he's like, "Gargoyle must not fight gargoyle."
Oh yeah, no, that's Kai. Kai is the leader. He's so cute, actually.
Yeah,
Is he single? These gargoyles are really hot. Like,
there was a girl one in this clan that the one we didn't get her name. She was so beautiful.
I thought so too. And she was walking around and she was like, I don't think this is not for me. I don't want to live here.
We saw two females in the crew, and for me it was the second one. I love the one that walking around and talk like the more lead female of that group. But there was another one. We get like again a few seconds of her.
Oh,
she was, and it was like when they wake up in the amusement park, and she was just beautiful.
Oh man.
She's like, I'm gonna go back and rewatch this episode.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, a beautiful gargoyle. Oh.
Yeah.
This show makes you want to be a gargoyle. Okay, that's just all I'm saying. Or Elisa. So yeah. Yama is really the cause of all of this. Goliath is like, you know what? Peace out, guys. I'm done. And so there is a friendly moment between himself and Kai, and he says, I hope you make the right choice, which is pretty cool. I thought that was really nice. But they thought they were gonna leave. They were just gonna get up and leave, but Taro actually gives them a sleeping gas and then locks them in the dungeon. He says an angry gargoyle will be very entertaining. So yeah, that's pretty nasty and very Xanatos-like. I was like, oh, these are moves from like this Xanatos' playbook. Well, pretty much.
Everything this guy does, he's the Japanese version.
Yeah. There's no other character that's that cunning except for Renard when inspired. Renard can, if he was a bad guy, he would be pretty good at doing that. So Elisa gets there and she finds out from a reporter outside that, something exciting will happen at dawn. And she was like, what? She looks at the villager and they both look at each other with big eyes. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel right now. Taro has gone complete bad guy at this point.
Because Kai wants to leave.
Yeah.
The rest of the clan, they're like, we're out of here. And he's like, I can't let you do that.
Yeah. So he cannot go. And he shoots him right in the chest with the dart. And he goes out immediately. This is when Yama discovers that he's been on the wrong team all this time, and that Taro is really some nasty piece of work. Meanwhile,
he finds out there's no kids.
Yes. Okay. I have that further down. The look on his face, and he's like, "There's no kids." Yes, he's really pissed off. But at this simultaneously, Elisa and one of the villagers get inside the complex by crashing a vehicle into it, and they actually free Goliath and Angela and Bronx, while also kind of helping some of the other gargoyles that are in trouble, because they're like shooting lasers at them. It's like really pandemonium at this point. Taro goes into full just how horrible he is, and then he dons this samurai outfit or armor just before telling his goons to let the press in. And so this is all like a big show to him, but he's also basically just like exploiting the gargoyles. And this is when Yama, this is his face when he finds out that there's no kids.
Yeah.
He's pissed, and because he even believed that there was going to be children involved in them.
Go back to him in the armor, though. Doesn't that give you, again, Xanatos vibes?
Yes.
The armor, the super-powered armor with electricity stuff. I love the fans, by the way.
Yeah,
but,
they were cool.
Well, again, 100% Japanese version.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're so right. You're so right. And Yama actually goes through a series of like they fight, and then Taro has the upper hand for like one or two times, and then the final bit that they have together, he finally defeats Taro, and the gargoyles, they all leave to go back to Ishimuro.
What the comment we see down here, though, that is from the fight, because at one point Goliath goes to step in, and Yama's like, no, Bushido demands that I fight him alone. And this is where Taro says, right here, Bushido's not kind to you, Yama.
Yeah, he's one of the people that they tried to teach him how the way of the Bushido, and he couldn't get it.
Yeah,
And so now he's sort of like, forget about it. I don't have to learn it. I'll just take the easy way out, which is, getting this like super suit with all this, all these weapons, and instead of learning the actual way. And I think he is good at them. I mean, he definitely, if he wasn't fighting a gargoyle, he certainly probably win. But he was fighting a gargoyle, so this is not enough. It's also like sort of the ancient ways versus to do the new ways, right? The new and old kind of battling each other, and of course the old ways win, and they kind of win a lot in this series. Love his face. It's like there's no children involved.
This right here is absolutely funny, because the gargoyles all take off, to get out of the eye of the press before they come in. And Elisa and the villager let the press in. And this guy, and the Taro's being held up by the giant gargoyle statue. And they're like, oh yeah, we've seen them. They're 100 feet tall. They're invisible. There's hundreds around us right now.
And they're like, okay, yeah. So the whole thing seems like a big hope, and they, playing it up was a smart idea. It really was. It really was a smart idea. And
that statue, however, was not.
I know. Before leaving, the villager promises to restore the teachings of the Bushido moving forward, which is actually kind of nice, and they get to restore some of their ancient teachings, and at the same time, the gargoyles are there to protect. I love it. Yeah. And so look at how many there are there. It's just great. Yeah. Love that episode. It's so sweet too. Okay, so we're up to Cloud Fathers, episode 41. It starts off with the previously on. Elisa is seeing her mom in Africa, and the family reunion, and they talk about Derek and Xanatos. I was trying to figure out where it was going with this previously on. I was like, what? I think whoever was in charge of the previously on, they were like, let's get all the family stuff.
Yeah, they're really throwing you for a loop when it comes to this one. I knew this episode was coming up,
Mhm.
so as soon as I saw Elisa and her mom, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, "Oh," so I thought, well, I thought her mom was gonna show up, but still a very good episode, very interesting one too. We get to learn more about Elisa's family. First, it starts off with a whirlwind, sort of like a cyclone, specifically destroying all of Xanatos's machinery at his construction site, and we know that is a no-no.
We also get a flashback of a young man arguing with his father because the
Oh,
young
yeah,
man
oh, yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, that's coming, that's coming.
sorry.
Yeah, that is coming, that is coming. This world when you get to see the image of a coyote's face, and I was like, "Oh, that's a coyote's face. Is this related to Coyote, the character? You know, what is this in reference to?" So that's one thing, but then we get to the part you were talking about with the young man talking to his father. The young man's name is Peter, and he is leaving his father to go live with the Washi Washishku. I
I'm not
forgot.
even gonna try pronouncing it. You get the impression that basically that means like an outsider.
Yeah.
I'm not looking too deep into that word because you never know.
Yeah, it could be like something bad. I'm sorry if I said something naughty. I was just
This
repeating the
this
character said.
this is where I do want to make a correction because
Mhm.
a while ago I was saying that I was pretty sure that Elisa was half Latino,
Mm.
half Latina. This episode we are correct. I'm corrected, and I'm not afraid to admit I need to be corrected on this. This is a Hopi tribe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hopi from the Pueblo. I'm tripping all over my words today. Hopi, Native American. I'm giving up on that word. Giving up. You feel free to leave that in.
Yes, a lot of these words I'm like,
New
I don't
Mexico.
know. Yeah, yeah, how to say them. But it's really interesting. He says that it's 1960 and he's leaving for New York City.
1960, not 1860.
Yeah.
And this whole thing you got to keep in mind for later in the episode.
Yes, yes. And I'm so glad you mentioned that because when I was writing down my notes, I didn't note that. And then I was at the end when I got to it, I was like, oh, he said, yeah. And there's bad blood, well, he doesn't leave on good terms, and he's just like, I'm leaving for New York City, and he disappears. He's very adamant about leaving. Now we get to the modern day, and this older man is picked up by a young lady. I didn't recognize her at first, but this is Beth, Elisa's sister, and this is Elisa's dad, Peter.
Here.
So, yeah, that was actually kind of cool to find that out. I was like, oh, this is so cool. So these are the family members that we're going to be dealing with in this episode. That kind of clears that up. And just at about the same time, the Manhattan Clan pulls up and is brought to the shore. And Elisa looks around and she, oh,
They came from the deep end of the swimming pool. They
yeah,
lived
yes.
at the university swimming pool.
Like, what? Okay.
Definitely one of my favorite entrances.
Yeah, it's like, and so when Elisa looks around, she's like, "Oh, my sister, is here. Um, I hope she's not in trouble." So she suspects immediately that her sister's in trouble. That is usually the case that we're finding out that Avalon is taking them to all of these places. They are encountering challenging situations where they are needed to help solve. And so this is great because I love when characters are really smart about things like that. So she knows exactly what to do. But she's right because the sister and the dad goes to Xanatos's construction site, and as soon as they get there, there's actually a person there, a young man who tells them, "Oh, come on in. We're waiting for you."
Yeah, we have it. We have it.
And then when they get there and they get close to Xanatos, they are arrested immediately. It kind of makes you scratch your head. Well, they were just let in by that guy. Who was that guy? And why? And for some reason at that point it didn't connect, but the guy looks familiar. I was like, oh, who is that guy? He looks kind of familiar. But it didn't click. It didn't click right away. And when they as soon as they walked in, Xanatos is actually really pissed. Like that's the first time I've ever seen him have a face like that. So I was like, okay, what's the deal? And well, it looks like Xanatos knows it wasn't them who committed the crime. He just wanted to get the Mazas out of the way because he wanted to get the real vandal. He's got a videotape of him right there, and he wanted to get rid of the police too, so he could handle it himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that this guy is a supernatural being, and ultimately he wants immortality. That's what he's seeking, as usual, right?
Yeah. At this point, we're not entirely certain that it's a supernatural being, but we've been through so much. Like, they don't specifically say who this guy is or what he is.
Yeah.
But we've been through enough of this to know this guy isn't normal. Avalon doesn't put them places where, it's just a couple people fighting.
You go back to the beginning with the storm cloud or the cyclone that's doing all the damage, and then this guy just sort of shows up and does that little thing that's kind of mischievous, and you're like, okay, how does he play into all of this? You can do a little bit of assessing, but we do get some confirmation later. He assigns the robot Coyote to get on the job and get the vandal. At nightfall, Goliath, Angela, and Bronx finally wake up. And just as a side note, Elisa has carried them to Beth's apartment. And I'm like,
I'm betting that because I can't see Elisa being able to pick up any one of them.
I know.
So they probably went there before, like while it was still night, expecting to, find Beth there. And she's like, well, she's not here, so I'm just going to wait around.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought for sure they carried it. She must have carried it. But you're right.
I don't think she could pick up. I don't think she could pick up Bronx when he's not stone.
Yeah. They're pretty heavy. So yes, thank you for straightening that out for me.
It's okay.
Because I was like, did she carry them? And at nightfall, Goliath, they wake up and they're at Beth's place. They're brought up to speed as to what's going on and so on and so forth. The gargoyles actually split up, and the gargoyles are going to do a surveillance of the entire area, and they're actually going to go to the site, which is trespassing. But then the humans are going to be kind of close by and watch everything from the sidelines. Also, Coyote is not just Coyote. Coyote is 4.0, and he intercepts the gargoyles, and he's quite formidable at this point in time, and captures Goliath and Angela. The ground team are actually on their own mission because they see the vandalist, and then they actually manage to capture him. And the way they do is actually, of course, Elisa tells Bronx, go get him. And he, of course, gets him quite easily, which is great. But he's some sort of supernatural being, so it must have been probably wanted to be captured. Just saying. And
well,
so
that we do discover.
yeah. And Elisa and Beth recognize him. They're like, do you see what
this is uncanny, and everyone else is like, what? Like Peter is not seeing it, and it's at this point either you've already made the connection or you're just catching in.
Yeah, it's subtle too because you're like, okay, it does look like him exactly, but because it's an animation, I wasn't quite, I wasn't
Yeah,
willing to like actually be like, oh yeah, for sure that's him. Whereas if it was live action, you would know it would be played by the same actor and so on and so forth. So I was like, okay, well, is that like a cousin or somebody? Maybe they'll fill us in at the end if this is a family member that they're not
not
mentioning.
until they actually start talking where you really get it.
Yeah, yeah. And this guy really wants to stop Xanatos from destroying the soil carving that has been left there. So there's like a huge soil carving that has been there for a very long time that was dedicated to the Kachina coyote. They mention that the coyote is the trickster. And we've already seen one trick from the
Multiple
coyote.
tricksters.
Yeah, there's lots of tricksters in the series. So we've already seen one trick, and that was him telling them to come into the construction site, and they were being set up. So yeah, that's actually kind of a cool thing.
But he's playing it off with some like real reverse psychology or something,
Yes.
where as if he doesn't care about he's like, oh, it's just some scratches in the dirt, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and which gets Peter right up. It's a icon. It belongs to the local tribe, and they should decide what's going on with it. And sure enough, doesn't our friend in black here? God, what was it? It's 1995, not 1895.
Yeah. He's like kind of mocking him in a way.
With his
But
own words,
yeah,
and it
and
still doesn't get into Peter.
no, he's still not like connecting the dots.
Just
But
enough
when
punk.
he said that, I was like, oh, that's gotta be in reference to that first scene.
Mhm.
And so
Like, even when the
meanwhile,
girls are looking at each other going, "Do you see it? He's yeah, Dad, don't you see it? Yeah, he looks like every other punk that I've busted before."
okay. So yeah, so funny. And meanwhile, Xanatos has Angela and Goliath basically cuffed to the ground where the carving is, and there's actually a countdown of 10 minutes before this is all destroyed. And he actually explains the reasoning for him doing this. He says pretty much that he's not really wanting to kill them, but he has to do this.
Be genuine about it.
Yeah, he has to be genuine about trying to kill him because who he's after would know that he wasn't genuine about it, and also pretty confident that they were going to stop him. But this is the only way to get the person that he wants. And so,
I loved that he followed up that whole spiel with, "This is my first real attempt at classic cartoon villainy. How am I doing?"
yes, and he like poses. That's great. And
I
I was
died.
like, wow. A self-aware character. Yeah, that was great. Fortunately, the plan fails, but the Maza girls are actually figuring things out, and they realize that okay, Coyote looks like Peter, and he's really there to get him into to take action.
Well,
And
he does directly say to them, what does a few scratches on the dirt matter? When Xanatos has is about to kill your gargoyle friends.
yeah.
They're like, what? And go to look over towards the compound and look back, and there's just a little whirlwind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when for sure, well, he's definitely supernatural. There's this dance that's happening, and they kind of look and they're like, what's going on here? And they described it as the dance of the Cloud Fathers, which is really didn't get I wasn't able to get more information about that, but
It was
that was really
this particular one was one of the Kachina dances or dances to honor the Kachinas. And in this particular one, it's rarely done, but it is done to honor the Coyote Kachina. And Peter does mention himself that he used to dance in the coyote costume when he was younger.
Yes. And that plays a big part, as we will explain by the end. He must have put all of these guys into a spell, his fellow dancers, because they were kind of like, well, I was, just having a pizza or whatever. They were not like
as soon as, because we see the coyote dancing, and the guy in the coyote costume walks over, and it is Peter 2.0.
Yeah.
the same guy. And yeah, it is Coyote. It is the actual coyote spirit, which of course Peter's still refusing to accept it at this point.
Yeah.
He's like, coyotes just a myth, and Elisa's favorite argument.
Gargoyles. You see gargoyles over here?
Myth. Standing in front of you.
Yeah, it is pretty plain to see, but it seems like he just doesn't want to accept the reality of it, which is,
and I get it. I do get it. We'll get back. But as soon as Coyote takes the mask off, the ceremonial headpiece or whatever, that's when Robo Coyote comes out of nowhere and to capture him.
It kind of happens really fast, so he must have been keeping tabs on him, but he just swoops in out of nowhere and grabs him. Coyote 4.0, I call is what I'll refer to him. And
as soon as the Kachina is captured, these guys come out of whatever trance he had them in.
Yeah, and they're like,
one on the big end, the big one on the end can finally go get his pizza.
Yeah. And so when Coyote 4.0 takes him back to Xanatos, Xanatos explains that the reason why Coyote 4.0 can grab him and keep him confined is because the metal that he's wearing is actually the metal from a magical cauldron that was supposed to grant him eternal life, and since it didn't work,
the cauldron that they used to make that spell.
Yes.
Hello. You remember back when they captured Hudson? Xanatos and Owen captured Hudson, and they were making up this spell so Xanatos would live as long as the mountain stone. And this is where Owen got his stone hand.
Yes.
That's the cauldron.
Yes, the very same cauldron. And he's like, well, it didn't work to help me get the thing I want, so he had it melted down and put it into Coyote's armor, and it's working quite nicely because he's nearly invincible in that armor. So smart guy. So yeah, it's very tough to get Coyote in one place, but it seems like during the scuffle, there's a Coyote dancer that shows up out of nowhere, and I immediately thought that it was Peter, but they don't show his face, and everybody seems to be confused
it was
to who.
Enough to give them pause.
Yeah,
like even Xanatos going, "You sure you got him?" He's like, "Oh, well, let me check." No.
I was like, "Come on, Coyote 4.0, you should know better than that."
And sure enough, as soon as he opens that, because he's got him stored in the little belly area.
Yeah, which is brilliant. Yeah.
As soon as he opens that up, man, Coyote dives out as fast as any time I open up my door with my cat. My cat's like shoom into the hall.
Yeah. And then Angela scoops them up real fast. It was really cool. I loved it. And this is where you get to see Coyote use his trickster skills, because he manages to trick Coyote 4.0 into shooting down all the beams around him and actually, creating sort of his own demise, and easily, well, I'll say not totally easily, but he does defeat the monstrosity that is Coyote 4.0, and almost gets David Xanatos as well. But David does not like losing, so he just was like, "I'm so tired of losing to you guys," in so many words, and he just flies away.
Yep.
Oh man. And then we get the reveal of that who the Coyote dancer is. And finally, Coyote gets to speak to Peter, and actually they have a connection because of that day that he became the dancer when he was younger, that you were explaining. It's sort of kind of cool that when he leaves, he turns into the whirlwind, and then you see that last little face of the Coyote at the end. It was really quite nice. I thought it was like great. And he said that when he left to go away, he took a piece of him with him, and he just wanted to get him to come back home, so it was really nice. Now, all of this time, the girls have been asking him,
Do you want to go see Grandpa? No.
do you want to see Grandpa? And I thought Grandpa was still around. So this broke my heart a little bit. I was like, no. And so, yeah, he never did get to talk to his father in person, which is like sort of like a life lesson for a lot of people. Like,
And
hey,
you get that this is why he was so reluctant to accept that that was the Coyote or pretty much anything supernatural, because that would mean he wasted years of not talking to his dad.
yeah, and also denying his heritage in a way, all the story of his ancestors. So it just is nice that he was able to finally decide, like, look, I gotta go see my dad, and it was so sweet. Interesting. And there are my sweet gargoyles turned to stone. So there, that was a really sweet. I did love that part of this story. So we go to the next one, Elle Met by Moonlight, episode 42, season 2. Oh my God. This episode. Oh my God. I loved it. Okay, can I just say that I did? Okay, Elle Met by Moonlight. We get a really interesting, previously on, we get a lot of, I suppose, like a montage of Avalon and anything to do with Avalon, kind of like in one cluster, which is Avalon being deserted is one of the comments that was mentioned. And also the magic of Avalon is sort of on the travelers as they're going from place to place.
Yeah, when they meet the Banshee, you have the smell of Avalon's magic on you. And the only reason that you could be here is because you've, been sent by Oberon. And cue Elisa going, we never met Oberon.
Yes. And which gives you a clue. The group is back on Avalon, and everything seems very fine there. Elisa, in particular, though, you can see that she is getting very homesick. Yeah, and a little bit irritated, but she's homesick. I noticed that Goliath took notice of that. He was concerned. Oh, sweet Goliath.
Wasn't exactly subtle, because
Yeah.
Lisa was saying, every time I hope that we'll see the Brooklyn Bridge or some landmark, which of course Princess Catherine goes, well, Avalon will always be, you can always call Avalon your home. And she's like, but it's not my home. It's not our home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I felt bad for her, but
to be fair, at this point in time too, I was ready for the journey to be over myself. Like,
Yeah,
are they
yeah,
ever going to get home?
it's been a lot of many quests, and as Goliath calls them, and it is, even though it's part of something he considers his destiny, I think she considers it her destiny too, in many ways. But as soon as they get there's clouds. Okay, so that whole thing where Lisa was like, every time we get somewhere, we have to go, put out some fire. Well, everything was fine. Everything was great until they showed up on Avalon. And then suddenly we've got dark clouds, and it is very scary for a few moments. But then the Weird Sisters showed up, and they brought Queen Titania and Oberon with them.
There's like a whole fight and conversation before anybody goes, "Who are you?"
I know, right? It's just like, oh, we're fighting first, and then
he's like, "Okay, you guys can go. I'm at home. You guys can go."
And I thought it was interesting. The voice of Oberon is by Terrace Mann, and Titania's voice is by Kate
Katie Seagal.
Mulgrew.
Oh, Catherine Mulgrew. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kate Mulgrew, and it sounds really great here.
She has a fantastic voice for Titania.
Yes, and they are a striking couple, these guys. So it's just sort of like, wow, who are these guys? I want to hang out with them. But I thought it was really interesting. The Weird Sisters, if we remember what happened with them prior, they're supposed to be guarding the island to make sure nobody gets on it. And here we have all of these people on this island that aren't supposed to be there. And so they're like, it's almost like they were little kids saying, "See, Mom, Dad, look,
these guys aren't 100% what they were doing."
These guys are not supposed to be on the island.
Exactly how we said. They're here. They're disrespecting you. They're making a mess. Look,
it
they
was
even
great.
brought humans.
Yeah, and they're like, look, humans and gargoyles, together, working together. And they were like, oh, so they got Mom and Dad.
Humans. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh man, Oberon, he's been part of the conversation for so many episodes, right? The children of Avalon. Oh, we're a child of and then finally now we get to meet Oberon himself, and he is a powerful god. He is a god, right?
For the Fae, yes.
Okay.
He's like the king, the king of the. I don't know how they call them, but I'm just going to call them Fae.
Okay.
I can't remember what they called him in the show.
Because he is as powerful as a god. Let's just say that.
I think they say the fair folk or something like that, or it is an old term, and I'm drawing a blank on it.
Like you said, they started out just starting to fight, and he is absolutely like destroying everybody. It's really ridiculous.
He's got them like that far into the ground, man.
Yeah, because I believe part of his power set is being able to control the earth and
everything in Avalon bends to his will.
Yeah, he was really about to kill them, and then Titania stepped in, and she said, "Okay, I'll do this. I'll offer my hand in marriage for a second time because they were married before and now they're divorced. If he can beat them in a hunt." And so they picked 3 of them, Angela, Goliath, and Gabriel. The way she wants him to win is with diminished power, which he barely listens to her. He's diminished power. So she actually absorbs some of his power, not all of it, but she absorbs some of it. And one of the things she says that your power will be that of a child. But when she says that, she means Oberon's children. So So it's really kind of like tricky. You're thinking, oh, a child like not any kind of child, a
Yeah.
child with magical powers. So he still has an incredible power set at his beck and call. It's really quite interesting. So they kind of give Gabriel, Angela, and Goliath a little head start before he just goes after them, and it's really an intense action sequence
But
of
as
events.
she's casting the spell to
Mhm.
reduce his power, she
Yes.
has some very specific words.
Okay. Yes.
And I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes with what is, yeah, it's be they reduced to the strength of a child. And this shall be until either you defeat them or they sound the knell of your defeat, and another ring shall be your reward.
Yeah. Okay. And that does have something to do with it, because from that there is a clue in there that Elisa finds a little bit later. At this point, Elisa notices that when she pulled out the gun on Oberon, he kind of flinched a little bit. They all figure out together that iron is the one thing that can hurt
Well,
these magical creatures.
well, the Princess Catherine and Tom know this. It's just they share this information because Elisa's like, yeah, I'm surprised he pulled back when I pulled out my gun. Like I was just bluffing because I've been out for ages, and though I think they probably have to be silver bullets or something. And Catherine's like, no, silver bullets is for vampires and wares.
Yeah, which means they exist.
Iron is what
That's
hurts
right.
the children of Oberon.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really cool. I thought that, I was like, you make everything iron. Also,
Which is something that they actually are delving from classic mythology,
mhm,
because it is believed that fairies and all of those type folk are hurt by iron. We've seen this in a lot of stuff.
Maleficent. Yes.
Maleficent is one of the first ones to come to mind, but this is actually in classic mythological beliefs as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought that was great because just for one thing, they're so powerful. It'd be great for them to have a weakness, but also iron is something that is not easy to come by, it seems. So
Especially on Avalon.
yeah, so they were like, okay, remember when they chained those the weird sisters with chains? Where are those chains? Where are those chains? It
Yep.
was really great. So they managed to get all of the iron on the island, and so they're gonna try to fashion something out of it, which is great. At least now they're like trying to be proactive on the other side of it. Gabriel, Angela, and Goliath are being hunted really fiercely by Oberon, but they set a trap for him. He does fall for the trap, but during that moment when he falls for the trap, he becomes so upset that he
Trying to make me look foolish.
yeah,
Those thigh highs aren't helping.
Yes, he has thigh-high boots, guys. It's wonderful. And so he really does. The roots come out of the ground and grab everybody, and you can see how aggressive they can get.
Mhm.
And they manage to break free because of they have a little extra super strength. And yeah, he's just incredible because he floats literally, and flies and floats, so he can catch up to them no problem. But he's wearing some fierce thigh-high boots all the way up there too, all the way up to
I'm sure RuPaul would approve.
in fact, that entire outfit is awesome. I love it.
Right?
I was just like, wow, these guys are really cool.
Over the top.
um
It's awesome.
I know that she said that she wanted him to be fair in his hunt, but he is really going.
You're not being fair.
Yeah, he's not playing fair. He's using all sorts of magic, lightning bolts, everything.
Lava.
They're flying over a volcano, which is huge. It's really not looking good for these guys. He even conjures up a hand to and how they escape this is like just by the nose. And it's I love these action sequences because they're really fast.
This
Fast
particular
paced.
action sequence, I'm sorry to interrupt,
Mhm.
this particular action
No.
sequence was absolutely fantastic because we are getting that point of view of the flying from them,
Yes.
especially through the lava tunnel. I mean, that was just
The lava
that was
tunnel. Yes, that was crazy. Yeah, there were a lot of moments I was like, are they gonna make it?
this could be a video game.
Oh, truly, yes. Truly, truly, truly. It was great. Just the hunting scene alone is definitely, you know, in as many levels as you can get to on a video game. At the castle, the gargoyles, Ophelia, I believe her name is, says, "Should we just leave? Because you know, Oberon, this is his place." You know, and then Elisa's like, "No, he hasn't been here for 1,000 years."
He gave
You
up the
know,
right.
yeah,
The girl actually has some good points.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not
I
like
thought that was unique.
it's not like that those gargoyles wouldn't have a home. They would 100% be welcomed with the Manhattan clan.
Yes, yes, absolutely. But you know, this is where they were born and raised. So I think it would be hard, but I think too, who would be take it the hardest would be,
Catherine and Tom, they
yeah,
would be
the humans.
really out of time.
Yeah, they would have a hard time with it. They need to hang out with Macbeth and here's Tom. He is fashioning this thing. And I like the fact they don't tell you what it is that they're building or making. At first it's like, oh, so they're probably gonna do a sword or a spear or some sort of weapon. And so they leave that a mystery, which is wonderful. Oberon has chased them down using all of his magical ways, but Goliath decides to stop running, and the others won't let him actually do it alone, which is really great. That's just the code of the gargoyles, and Goliath's trying to get him to stop using so much magic, but Oberon is like, okay, so bring it on. And so then we get this wonderful moment of Goliath just totally hulking out and raging out there. So yeah, that was a great moment. I was like, wow. Just when you thought, okay, for sure, I'm like, okay, somebody's in trouble. It's not going to bother him at all because he's too powerful. He turns into like a metal form.
Adamantium
And
or something.
yeah, something ridiculously impenetrable. And so he knocks out Goliath. These guys, they've just tried punching him, and that's not working. He's just too powerful. He's just too powerful and knocks them out. So he's the winner of the hunt. Oberon brings them back to the clan and is like, where's my trophy? And
But of course,
so,
Catherine and them come out with, we have one more trick to play, or one more
yes,
thing, one more thing to do.
and it's
It-
glorious. They have fashioned not any weapon at all, but a bell, which they begin to sound off, and it actually weakens him.
Like
And
seriously, he's like, stop. Whoa.
yeah, and they keep ringing it, and I believe this weakens him enough that Tom gets close. And instead of delivering the killing blow, Tom says that he can't kill a man on his knees. This is something that Oberon really respects. Goliath has woken up, and he offers Oberon his hand so he could stand on his feet. And that really impresses him. Oberon is very grateful for this mercy and strikes a deal with the princess, Catherine, that they can stay on the island don't ring the bell. Just don't ring that bell.
Yep.
And he also says to Goliath, he's named him the honor guard of Avalon, and his clan will be immune to his magic, to the magic of Avalon, which is really good. It's the magic of Oberon, which is really helpful because they've been getting, they've been dealing with the magic of Oberon for so long, and in so many ways, and this will definitely give them a leg up, if you will.
Yeah.
Titania shows up, and look at this outfit. Okay.
I love her. And that's not just because her choice in hair color. I love her.
She's so beautiful. I was just looking at her like, wow, lady. And she actually gives Oberon back his full power and announces him as her husband again. Yeah. And I love this. This is his face. He's just super happy. So there is actually love between at least him for her. When asked by I believe Goliath why Titania helped them, she said that she's just repaying a favor. And Goliath is like, why? We've never met.
I've never met you.
Yeah. Where's that Phoenix Gate?
It's not a Phoenix Gate thing.
No? Ooh!
No.
Okay. I can't wait. For the surprises. This is really great. And so it's really not played for very much, but the Weird Sisters have like a few seconds on screen. The one in black is shaking her head like, and the other one is like, and then they disappear. And I was like, they're not happy, but they're not at fault. I mean, they still have their jobs, right?
Yeah.
So they're okay. So I guess for now, calm down is what she's saying with her hand. So yeah, they are mischievous as well. It's a naughty children.
Seems to be all of them.
Why were they have caused so much trouble in this whole story. So it's nice to know that the clan will not be affected by any magic that they, can put together.
From now.
Yeah.
Or at least Oberon's children's magic.
Yes. And so the clan is actually going to go on more quests. So they're heading out and leaving Avalon. Oberon and Titania are preparing for the gathering. So the gathering is about to happen. They mention it. And so this is not the first time we heard about it, right? The siren mentions the gathering. It's getting closer and closer.
We are so close to the gathering. I'm really not sure what I can say that's not going to be a direct spoiler. So this is one of those times I don't think I can. I really don't think there's anything I can say at this point.
Okay.
Other than we don't have to wait long.
Okay. All right. I can't wait myself. Because from what we know so far about the gathering is that Oberon wants all of his children to gather on Avalon for the gathering, and who knows what that means. So I can't wait for that. They look so good together here.
They do.
So they're like full flare. That cape is just like something else. It's like I do want this outfit. Oh man. And so what are your thoughts on this episode? And then I'll ask your thoughts on also all three of the episodes.
I love this episode. I mean, it's got that whole, classic mythology, Arthurian legends, all of that some Shakespeare tossed in there because I think that's really the only mention of Titania and Oberon is from A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh yeah, okay.
Obviously, I love her look for
Ah,
multiple reasons.
yeah,
I mean, she is striking.
yeah. The skin color, the ears, the earrings, the hair color, the hair, everything. She looks fantastic. As far as like character design, they really had a lot of fun putting this together. You could see they went for just that larger than life look, and I love it. I really do. Like that's for sure. And I did like the fact that the way they're drawn is a lot different too. Their eyes in particular. I was
Mhm.
wondering, I was like, their eyes are shaped so, different than all the other characters.
That's a Dungeons and Dragons type thing
Mm,
because in that I've drawn so many Dungeons and Dragons characters over the years. And the elves always have that same high up, the angled brows. Think
mm-hmm,
Spock from Star Trek.
mm-hmm.
They
Yeah,
got
yeah,
that same look.
exactly. Like they have like an eyebrow lift.
I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, it's really cool. And yes, just wonderful. Absolutely loved it. And in general, what did you think of these three? I did enjoy these three. I haven't been disappointed by
Yeah,
any one yet. I mean, each one has their own flavor of with something special to it.
these episodes that we're coming up with, finally.
For the homework?
I know.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, the homework for week 15. We're still on season 2, episode 43, future tense. And I'm hoping this is the one where we'll find out exactly what I'm just imagining here. I don't know. And we've got episode 44, which is The Gathering Part 1, and episode 45, The Gathering Part 2. And we are going to do those next week. I hope that this will be a lot of fun for you guys. This has been just so incredible. And like I said, every single week I am just enjoying all the episodes. There hasn't been a bad episode yet. I have like one that I'm like, I don't know about this. They've all been incredible. So I guess this is it. Did you
Mhm.
have anything that you wanted to tell the audience to
Not
prepare us or
I
anything?
when it comes to this, no. These
Okay.
next three, it's the same. I don't want to touch because these are again, The Gathering, definitely my favorite. Definitely my favorite episodes. Uh, I can't. There's nothing I can do to do it like a prep or teaser without giving out a spoiler.
Yeah. Well, thank you for not spoiling it for us. We're definitely going to watch these and enjoy them. Guys, thank you for being here, and thank you, Mama Bear, for this. This is just wonderful that we can do this wonderful show. It's just been really rewarding. I
Mhm.
guess we'll see everybody next week.
Yep.
Take care, everyone.
Better.
Oh gosh, I love that. Uh, I loved it so much, guys. That was fantastic. I love watching these. It's funny because we finished recording all of the shows, and this is just the back end. I'm still editing, so that's really crazy for me to be editing the show and also like actually playing it at the same time. So it is nice to kind of refresh on those things. But next week, guys, we're gonna get to see The Gathering. It's so awesome. Just here's the homework one more time, so we have a fresh look at it. It's fantastic, and I can't say enough about these next 3 episodes. I can hope that you guys all will be here for that. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And just watch those episodes ahead of time. It's gonna be a great time. Just a great time. Um, let's see. Let's see who's here. What's happening? I just saw somebody walk in the door just now. Let's see. Uh, Amy Jo says, I can't wait to see your anniversary stream. I can't wait for it either. It's not gonna be that big of a deal, but it is kind of a big deal. So I'm basically gonna just go over some stuff with the channel and I'll see. I really want to feature and highlight some people who've worked with me this year. And then I'm not sure if anyone will come by and be on the channel, actually be on any panels. I think Lance said that he was going to be on the show, and that's because last year he was here. But I think, and that's Lance from the Outcast Creative. So that's he might be here as well. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. And Amy Jo says, and the watch party. Oh, cool. And Moonbeam is here. Says, oh, I'm late. Al, we'll watch the replay. It's been a busy day. I know. Like, I don't know what's going on. Everybody I talked to today, busy day. Lots of stuff going on. And like for myself, it was just like super busy, right up to the edge. I'm telling you, I rushed through the door, like threw on the computer, and I'm like, okay, hurry up and boot up because I need to get online. And it was just so intense. But yeah, well, it's been a wild day. But thanks for being able to catch just the end of it and. I hope you enjoy the replay. It's funny. I laughed a lot. I laughed a lot. And Amy is reminding us that Back to School um, is the movie that we'll be doing the watch party of it. And it's oh my goodness, I want to have so much fun with that. Let me just go through the list of the things that we're doing this week. So uh, we've got yes, we've got Friday. I'm actually doing a special live stream, so I hope you guys can join me for that. If you check in on my webpage, I'm sorry, if you check on my YouTube page under live streams, you should be able to see what time it's going to be. But it is going to be top 20 one-off movies that should have been sequels, and that's going to be on Friday. I hope you can join me for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I just want to do a quickie one. And there may be some extra bonus ones, but I'd love to hear what your top 20 is, or just randomly what your ideas of one-off movies that you'd love to see a sequel of. And just like let me know in the chat once we get to that day. Let's see. On Saturday, of course, we got the back to school watch party. Later on that day, if you have time to join me on Lorena Creole's channel, we're going to be watching a goofy film. What is it? I think it's called. Let me just double check. A Goofy movie. Yes, a Goofy movie. It'll be my first time seeing it. I think I saw part of it before, but I'm not sure because it's been a very long time. So we're gonna be watching that. That'll be really great. And just in time for Father's Day, so we'll be doing that. Sunday, that will be the 8-year anniversary celebration. It will also be my 200th live stream. So I'm really excited about that. And then let's see if we can. I'm working on maybe seeing if the following Saturday after that I can do War of the Worlds. We're trying to see if we can do that because right now I have it scheduled for the 29th, but I'm going to see if I can push it up a little bit earlier. And yeah, that would be a lot of fun if I did. All right, guys. Let's see. What else? What else? What else? Um, and Moonbeam says, "Oh, the next ones are the Gathering." Yes, yes. First, Future Tense. Future Tense is actually a really good one, and then we get right into the Gathering, which is great. Oh man! And Moonbeam says, "Yes, Rodney Dangerfield. Yes, he's fantastic, just wonderful, and one of my favorite comedians." And we don't, I don't think we celebrate him enough, you know? I don't think so. I don't think the world celebrates him enough. So it's kind of great. I think he's a great guy, you know. Um, and Amy Jo says, I know some movies that deserve to have sequels. Oh, good, 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 good. Okay, keep them a secret, and definitely we'll talk about it on Friday. That would be great. I'm so glad you have ideas. Um, and says, "Oh, I'll make a list." Awesome. And Moonbeam says Jason Marsden has a channel. Who's that? I'm sure I'm missing something. And Moonbeam says, "Yeah, I've seen every episode of Disney's Gargoyles. Perfect, 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 perfect." Um, Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yes. Danger Rodney Dangerfield, no respect. Yeah. He doesn't get any respect. I mean, not enough at least, not in my book. He's great. Um, so I am going to bid you adieu. I hope that you will enjoy the next couple of days. I think the next thing you might see from me is maybe in the community tab, you might see a link to a show that I will be doing with Sil Abdul, and I hope that you guys will support me over there. It'll be a lot of fun. I definitely, it's about me talking about current events, so it's like retro's modern take, if you will. And so, yeah, and Moonbeam says Jason Marsden is Max Goof from a Goofy movie. Ciao for now. Oh, okay. Didn't know that. I didn't know that. I did not know that. And Amy Jo says a whooping cushion or a rubber chicken. Okay. All right, Ro. I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and then this is gonna be one of the shorter outros. So I will see you very, very soon.